I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely starving. So I'm going to stick a bit of that on. Luckily I've had a jacket potato cooking away for a few hours. Got my cheese readily grated. We're all set to go. And basically, this is a video response to two people. The first one is Atarileaf, and he's talking about the Retron 5 that's coming out. I did say it at the Play Expo, and he's asking what do people think to it and would they consider getting one. So basically, I think it's a really cool concept, it's a really cool idea. In principle, I think purists are always going to find something wrong with it, but I don't think that's the target audience. Hopefully it's pretty spot on, the emulation. If it's got a scanline generator and whatnot, it could be worth getting. When I have people come over, it's a bit of a hassle to go upstairs and play in a CRT and all that business. It would be easier, and it is easier, just to sit downstairs and play something on an HD TV. So in that regard, there'd be times when it would come in handy for me. So I probably would use one. So if it's decent enough, I would consider buying one. As far as emulation issues, I don't think the majority of people, the target audience, would really know anything about it. I didn't think much of the Neo Geo X emulation, but when you look on it from the outside and think, what about someone who's just heard about the Neo Geo, what an awesome console it was an arcade machine and all that, when they get it and they've got 30 games straight away or whatever you get with it, and they've got the arcade sticks, and they've got the friends over there having a few beers, they're probably having a whale of a time. You know, it would be a bit daft to suggest otherwise. So, in principle, yeah, I'm pretty excited to find out what it's going to be like. I've heard that they're going to incorporate scanline generator, and you know, if the emulation's spot on, I think for people, especially people like me who aren't very computer literate, I guess you'd call it. I guess I'm illiterate, but people like that who don't want to sit there fiddling about, tweaking settings, making it all look right. I mean, I know you can do that, just get the ROMs or whatever else, or play the discs on your computer. That's great if that's your kind of thing and you're into that and you can be bothered to get involved. But someone like me who's lazy, I just want something that's plugged into the TV. So yeah, in a long-winded way, I would consider getting the Retron 5 if it's any good. Now the Mega Drive, and what does it mean to me? Basically, it's the most important console of all time as far as I'm considered, as far as I consider. But I think anyone's going to say that with whichever console they played the most when they were younger. Well, I think a lot of people are going to say that. That nostalgia, that factor of being so familiar with the system, you know, at a time when I had the time to play it whenever I wanted. You know, that's something you can't recreate that unless you had it, you know, originally. You can still appreciate old games, but you don't quite get that nostalgic buzz unless you've got some sort of association with the game or the system. As far as I'm aware, anyway, as far as it goes for me. So, Mega Drive, yeah. I had consoles before it, but the Mega Drive was when I was like, yes, this is awesome. Nintendo, some friends of mine had an NES, I had an NES later on. They had a Super NES eventually. You know, it was cool. A couple of my other friends had Super NES, but a lot of people had Mega Drive. A lot of people had Mega Drive or Amigas or Atari STs. But for me, the Mega Drive was just, you know, that one-stop solution, much like Retron 5. It was just a really good console, really cool graphics, so much better than the 8-bit era in terms of like sprite, flicker and detail and multiplayer modes. And just some of my favourite memories, again nostalgia, growing up playing things like Micro Machines, multiplayer and sensible soccer tournaments and General Chaos and Worms. Just crazy. I used to carry it around with me in like a wooden box. I'd make this wooden box. Yeah, this was like, I was still taking my Mega Drive, carrying it around, playing with people when the PlayStation 1 was out. I was still taking my Mega Drive out and people were still enjoying it then. And I think it was sort of considered retro then, I guess, but I just had so many games for it, like NBA Jam, and had the 4-player adapter, all the controls. I mean, I've still got everything nowadays, but you know, I had all the stuff there, and I was big into the multiplayer games. And they're just such fun times getting like 4 people together, all in a room of 8, 16, whatever, and just playing a load of Mega Drive. And I'll always be reminded of those times, which is just something you won't get by playing systems you've got no association with. So yeah, to me, it's a very important console. I've talked about it many times. The first game that I've seen on it, which was Sonic the Hedgehog, and basically it was something like my stepdad's nephew or something like that. He brought the Mega Drive over one Christmas. It wasn't Christmas Day, it was sometime over Christmas. And we played it, me and my sister, Sonic the Hedgehog. Just couldn't quite believe it. It looked fantastic. I think he had the SCART lead and all that. It was probably 60 Hz Japanese or something like that. Maybe it was an American one. I remember the box was black, so I don't think it was Japanese. But it looked fantastic on the television downstairs. It was like a 25-inch Samsung, I think. No, Sanyo it was. And just looked pin sharp. He was amazed about how good we were at playing this game, Sonic the Hedgehog. So, luckily for us, he let us borrow it for about, I don't know, a week or two, and we just played it constantly. And I was convinced then that I needed to trade my NES for a Sega Mega Drive, which is exactly what ended up happening. For some crazy reason, I mean, I had a lot of the good NES games. I probably had about 15, but I had all the Zeldas, the 2 Zeldas, all the Mario Brothers, Super Off-Road, the 4-way tap, 4 controllers. You know, numerous pretty, you know, some of the good games, all boxed and whatnot. I weren't saying in the best condition ever. But I actually swapped that with some lad at school for a Sega Mega Drive. I can't remember what games came with it. I think Super Ghouls and Ghosts came with it, but I ended up trading the game in because obviously I've got it now, but I still suck at it. It's really hard. I can't quite remember. I think it was an EA Hockey, which was a fantastic game. There may have been a John Madden. There was a Rolo to the Rescue. I've still got that to this day. There may have been something like Jungle Strike, no, Desert Strike perhaps. But anyway, I mean, I used to go to these swap club things and swap for the games I wanted. And unfortunately, when I first got back into collecting, I decided I didn't want to get loads of games, the way I ended up. And so I said, right, what I'm going to do is get rid of anything I don't think I'm going to play and just buy the stuff I do want to play now, lots of new things. Because my Mega Drive collection, a lot of it now is stuff that I never played back in the day. So it's slightly different focus. I'm not one of the people who's got to get every game back that they had in the past, because some of the games I had weren't very good. But as I always say, years ago you didn't buy games every week or anything like that. No one had like the money, 40, 50 quid thrown around like that when you got a game. Maybe you only had a couple of games a year. Even when I was working, you know, they were still expensive. So you did play games, you got the most out of them. Because I was always taking to people's houses, when you were your friends, you just carry on trying. You know, one person gets fed up with it, the next person will jump on it. When someone cracks it, it just gives everyone that optimism that there's actually a good game beneath the surface, and everyone starts getting into it, and that's when you're having a good time playing a game. So yeah, basically for me, Mega Drive, #1 console. I would get rid of everything else in a heartbeat, but I would have to at least think twice before selling my Mega Drive collection off, because to me it's the console of choice. And obviously, you know, your mileage may vary. You may prefer a different console, a different system, different games. That's perfectly fine. It's all about your choice and your opinions. So that's it for now. I thank you all for watching. Hopefully I'll upload some more videos soon. It might be 9 PM, but we're all sorted now.